31 minutes of the newest YouTube video, listen to Elon and live for a second, they lie. I mean, yes, that's, yeah. Chuck Dice, what the hell? Thank you for the 25 gift subs. Thank you so much. Oh my God, thank you. That's very generous of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. Everyone say thank you if you got gifted a sub. All right. Or else I explode you all. Yeah. I can't believe 2025 really is the year of the crash out. I wonder how many more crash outs we'll get, dude. What the hell? Dope. Have you been following the European summit today? Europe is going to rearm fast. Yeah, I mean, Europe recognizes that they no longer have an ally with the an allyship with the United States anymore. The United States is a Russian asset, more or less. So they have to find a way to defend themselves, right? Evidently, other countries cannot rely on the US anymore on this front. So they have sort of no choice but to do that. France is talking about giving people nukes. I mean, again, yes, exactly what I said, right? Because like mutually assured destruction only works if like the major powers that have the nukes are fighting against each other. If Russia and the United States are like making out in the back seat, who's protecting the fucking driver, dude? Who's like, there's nothing you can, there's nothing that's going to happen there except rearming these nations so that they can protect themselves. Article 5 is no longer reliable. They now need their own nuclear deterrent. Let's give everyone nukes, dude. This is going to work out really well. Fast is impossible to take at least a decade. I mean, yeah. It turns out America betraying Ukraine and then threatening trade wars and annexations isn't a good play. I mean, yeah. But like, let's talk about this earlier because I want to talk about this a little bit. We're at the point now where 100% the United States is a Putin asset. Oh, not this one. Sorry, wrong article. That's for a later story about Guantanamo. Like, this is unbelievably concerning. It's actually also really scary that I haven't seen anyone else really talk about this. Trump administration retreats and fights against Russian cyber threats. Recent incidents indicate U.S. no longer characterizing Russia as a cybersecurity threat, marking a radical departure. Putin is on the inside now. Trump administration has publicly and privately signaled that it does not believe Russia represents a cyber threat against U.S. national security or critical infrastructure, marking a radical departure from long-standing intelligence assessments. We already have all of the data from Russia attempting to interfere with American elections via Facebook. We already know that that's true. And the Trump administration said, actually, it's fine. No, it's good. Shift in policy can make the U.S. vulnerable to hacking attacks by Russia, experts warn, and appear to reflect the warming of relations between Trump and Russia's President Vladimir Putin. Two recent incidents indicate the U.S. is no longer characterizing Russia as a cybersecurity threat, which is terrifying. Deindustrialized and increasingly militarizing Europe isn't too great either. Europe, for the most part, is very right-wing and is very cruel border policing. Yeah. Well, I don't know about the border policing in between European nations. That tends to be less brutal because of the EU. But yeah, I mean, with like the AfD on the rise in Germany, with like, was it Spain, I think, that elected a far-right candidate? Like, this is not the direction we want to go in. The UK has become more and more conservative ever since the Trump clone. What's his name? Johnson? What the fuck is his name? Why am I blanking? Boris. Yes. Boris Johnson. Okay, Johnson. But yeah, it's like this is not good. Arguably, the right-wing shift in the UK was before Boris Johnson, but I think Boris Johnson helped Trumpify the UK a little bit more. They've been going more conservative since Blair. Yeah, again, longer than that. I think just Boris Johnson really, he accelerated things a little bit more. Okay, moving on. Two recent incidents indicate U.S. is no longer characterizing Russia as a cybersecurity threat. Fran's Deputy Assistant Secretary for International Cybersecurity at the State Department said in a speech last week before United Nations Working Group on Cybersecurity that the U.S. was concerned by threats perpetrated by some states, but only named China and Iran, with no means of Russia in her remarks. Franz also did not mention the Russia-based Lockbit ransomware group, which the U.S. has previously said is the most prolific ransomware group in the world and has been called out in UN forums in the past. The Treasury last year said Lockbit operates on a ransomware as service model in which the group licenses its ransomware software to criminals in exchange for a portion of the paid ransoms. In contrast to France's statement, representatives of the U.S. allies in the European Union and UK focused on their remarks on the threat posed by Moscow, with the UK pointing out that Russia was using offensive and malicious cyber attacks against Ukraine alongside its illegal invasion. It's incomprehensible to give a speech about threats in cyberspace and not mention Russia, and it is delusional to think that this will turn Russia and the FSB the Russian security agency into our friends, said James Lewis, veteran cyber expert, formerly of the Center for Strategic and International Studies think tank in Washington. They hate the U.S. and are still mad about losing the Cold War. Pretending otherwise won't change this. I mean, I would argue it's less about a Russia v. U.S. and more about Putin trying to extract as much power as possible, right? Hope you're protecting your 401k. It is very adorable that you think that a streamer like me would have a 401k. But I appreciate that. That's really sweet of you. The U.S. policy change has also been established behind closed doors. A recent memo at the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency set out new priorities for the agency, which is part of the Department of Homeland Security and monitors cyber threats against U.S. critical infrastructure. The new directive set out priorities that include China and protecting local systems. It did not mention Russia. A person familiar with the matter who spoke to The Guardian on the condition of anonymity said analysts at the agency were verbally informed that they were not to follow or report on Russian threats, even though this had previously been a main focus for the agency. The person said work was being done on something, quote, Russia-related, and was in effect nixed. Russia and China are our biggest adversaries. With all the cuts being made to different agencies, a lot of cybersecurity personnel have been fired. Our systems are not going to be protected, and our adversaries know this. Person added, people are saying Russia is winning. Putin is on the inside now. He's definitely on the inside at Trump, for sure, dude. The TLDR, chat, is imagine you work in cybersecurity for the US government and then your higher up says, hey, this project you've been working on that's actually really important in relation to Russia, you got it. We're cutting this program. But this is important. But like, wait, this is actually, no, we're not doing it anymore. No, we're not doing that anymore. We're good. There are thousands of U.S. government employees and military working daily on the massive threat that Russia poses as possibly the most significant nation-state threat actor. Not to diminish the significance of China, Iran, or North Korea, but Russia is at least on par with China as the most significant cyber threat. What is the name of the article? It's from The Guardian. Trump administration retreats in fight against Russian cyber threats. There's other articles as well from other sources. If you're like, this is The Guardian, Guardian is dog shit. This is one source for this, okay? There are a lot of other sources on this. Yeah, I also like to pretend like this doesn't line up with everything else that they're doing. Like, have you seen the way that Fox News, this has 8.8 million views. Ukrainian Have you not seen Fox glazing Putin and being like, listen, Putin, we're not saying Putin's a great guy or anything, but Zelensky's a piece of shit.
President Volodymyr Zelensky. Mr. President, thank you for the time today, especially on this day, to continue to do this interview. President Trump said after your meeting that you disrespected him and the vice president and all of America in the Oval Office. Do you think you did? And do you think you owe an apology to President Trump?
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for the invitation for this dialogue, and good evening to all your country, to all Americans. I'm very thankful to Americans for all your support. You did a lot. I'm thankful to President Trump and to Congress bipartisan support. And I was always very thankful from all our people. You helped us a lot from the very beginning during 3 years of full-scale innovation. You helped us to survive. Anyway, we are strategic partners. And even in such tough dialogue, and I think we have to be very honest and we have to be very direct to understand each other, because it's very, for us, very necessary to President Trump, and I'm with all respect that he wants to finish this war, but nobody wants to finish more than we, because we in Ukraine, we are in this war, we are in this battle, and battle for freedom for our lives. So I'm just telling that I think that we have to be on the same side, and I hope that the president on our side together with us, and that is very important to stop Putin. And I heard from President Trump.
Dude, I think the worst people that got shafted by the failure of the Democrats is the Ukrainian people. Can you imagine being Zelensky and you're like, okay, well, there's no way Biden's going to lose, right? They already tried Trump and Trump wasn't great. And historically, incumbents win and the Democrats got a lot more money. Like, they should win. So I'll hedge my bets with Biden and I should be able to keep this war going for hopefully until we win, right?
I love how petty Zelenskyy is, to the point that after the meetings he just started to QT every leader that posted a message on his favor saying thank you.
Yeah, King Arabs, thank you for the 14 months. But you fucking hedge your bets. You're like, there's no way the Democrats are so incompetent that they would lose. So sure, let's go petition for Biden here. And then they switch Biden out for Kamala, and then Kamala fucking loses. Like, I think all of us saw Kamala loss, and we were like, well. He saw that shit, and he was like contemplating ending it all. Kamala, I don't know why my default is to go to Kamala. Yeah.
A lot of times that he will stop the war, and I hope he will, and we need to pressure him with Europe, with all the partners. And I think this dialogue had to be a little bit earlier to understand where we are. Like, you know, I don't remember exactly, but like President Reagan said that peace is not just an absent the war. Yes, we're speaking about just and lasting peace.
It's this chatter. I think it was pretty obvious from the beginning who was going to win, TBH. Okay, why haven't you won the lottery then? Why can't you predict the winning numbers? If it's so obvious. Why aren't you giga rich off of placing all your money on Trump winning? Why didn't you bet on it? Put your money where your mouth is, bitch. All right? Yeah, that's right. That's right.
About freedom, about justice, about human rights. And that's why I said that I think so, that ceasefire, and you know Putin, he broken 25 times ceasefire during all these years, 10 years.
So I'm not hearing from you, Mr. President, a thought that you owe the president an apology.
No, I respect President, and I respect American people. And
I don't understand these chatters. Would you date Hassan? First of all, I would never date a streamer. That's disgusting. And I mean that, okay? Don't be disgusting, you sick fuck.
And if, I don't know, if, I think that we have to be very open and very honest. And I'm not sure that...
What about Asmongold? I just explained, I would never date a streamer. I'm so serious, Chad. I would never do that, ever. I'm not even joking. I'm not joking. I would never do that. Okay, my one exception is Pokemon. All right, fuck, you got me. All right, that's my one exception. That's my one. But like, who wouldn't? Okay, like, let's just be real. All right, let's just, come on. Okay, let's just be real for 2 seconds. You wouldn't date a streamer, but would you want to date a more disgusting streamer? Also, Chad, I'm like, actually, I'm not like a clean freak, but like, I don't know if anyone else experiences the mood debuff from having a messy room. I have like I am a room upon like -20 ugly environment. Like, I hate gross spaces. There's a reason that this room is like almost always pretty clean. Like, I cleaned up all the floors and stuff. Like, I don't like messy spaces. I hate messy spaces. They ruin my whole fucking brain. I hate it so much. That would be my nightmare, dating a fucking slob. Because I can deal with, you know, maybe you leave cardboard boxes out. Maybe, you know, you don't put away all your laundry or whatever. I can deal with that. Leaving food out, leaving food and drinks out. Like, thinking about it is making me, like, it's making me mad, actually. It's making me mad. It's disgusting. It's actually disgusting. It's actually disgusting.
We did something bad. I think maybe sometimes some things we have to discuss out of media, with all respect to democracy and to a free media. But there are things that where we have to understand the position of Ukraine and Ukrainians. And I think that is the most important thing. Yes, we are partners. You know, we are very close partners. We have to be fair. We have to be very free.
I'm told that you were told multiple times from lawmakers on Capitol Hill and the White House to make today about the minerals deal and the economic deal, and then get it signed and let negotiations play out over security guarantees step by step. Is that true?
I said that we have to sign this document, and we are ready for this. And this will be the first step to security guarantees, but it's not enough. I think so. Maybe I don't know something. I don't know some details. That's why I wanted to share it with the president, my thoughts, and to hear him again, because he has a plan how to stop Putin. And maybe, as I said, maybe it's out of big conversations, but we have to share it. You know, this is so sensitive. You know, just a ceasefire without security guarantees, this is so sensitive for our people. I'm speaking like a president of a people who are in this struggle 3 years, and they just want to hear that America on our side and that America will stay with us, not with Russia, with us. That's it. But I'm sure that it will be. This is the first step to security guarantees. Europeans, we don't need to lose them. They are good allies for the United States. The United States is the most or the biggest donator of support and of peace. But we don't need to lose Europe, and they also want to know next steps. We have to be very open to understand how to stop the war.
Right. But do you think the public spat in the Oval Office in front of the media served Ukrainians well today?
I think this kind of spat is I mean this is not good for both sides anyway, and I very open, but I can't change our Ukrainian attitude to Russia, and I don't want they kill us for us. This is very, very clear that Americans are the best of our friends, Europeans are the best of our friends, and Putin with Russian, their enemies. And it doesn't mean that we don't want peace. We just want to recognize the reality, the real situation.
President Trump is convinced that you will never sign a deal with Vladimir Putin. Is he right?
No, I think so.
That's the most... Oh my God, Fox News. I have such a negative response anytime a Fox News host says some shit because I forget that they're corporate shills that are just pushing whatever propaganda piece they have to. Then I have to calm myself down by remembering that they are always going to ask the stupidest questions because they're just evil. What a bizarre notion. As if every war hasn't already been ended by agreements. There's only two ways to end a war. Either you kill all of the people in that region and take everything, which has happened very rarely, like you kill entire cultures or civilizations or nations or whatever, or it ends in an agreement, which is how, probably like 90-something% wars end. It doesn't happen anymore that like the Roman Empire just fucking overtakes all this shit and then collapses. That's not what's happening. Almost all wars, probably all wars in the past, I would say century, end in agreements. This idea that, Trump says that you'll never sign a deal with Putin. Well, what is this stupid shit? What the fuck? Obviously, he has to sign an agreement. He doesn't want to sign an agreement that is obviously going to be broken in a couple of years. He wants one that has like consequences if the peace treaty is broken.
So what I think, Ukraine wants peace, and we will have anyway diplomacy. We will have negotiations. I only said that I think so. It's about just and lasting peace. It means that we have to be very strong at the table of negotiations. And at these negotiations, Ukraine and Russia, like sides of this war, have to be, and the United States and Europe. That's what I said. So we are ready for peace, but we have to be in strong position. What does it mean? Just
so yeah, YouTube drama ass headline, airing dirty laundry. God.
Our army is strong, that our partners with us, and that we have security guarantees. Am I not right?
Leaving the White House today, President Trump said this.
He's looking to go on and fight. He wants to come back right now, but I can't do that.
What do you make of that? Do you want to continue fighting? Do you want peace? And if he had the opportunity to go back to the White House right now, would you do it?
No. First of all, we want peace. That's why I'm in the United States. That's why I visited President Trump. And thanks for invitation again. The deal on minerals is the first step to security guarantees. It's meant for the peace, closer to peace. That's why I'm here. And we have tough situation. To understand it is to be in Ukraine. You saw it, Brad. You was once. Thank you again. So I think that's very important to understand what's going on. But I respect my soldiers and our people, our civilians who work and support our warriors. I can't say just stop. Nobody will stop because everybody afraid that Putin will come back tomorrow. We want just and lasting peace. It's true. We want security guarantees. We raise this topic about NATO the quickest way, but not all the countries are on this side. I said, okay, if not NATO, nobody is pushing. If not NATO.
And it's crazy that Fox is pushing this as like an absurd notion that Zelensky's asking for so much, when in reality, all he's saying is, I don't want to sign a deal that Russia can just break tomorrow. What the fuck? That's not, what is that? That's like meaningless. You just want me to sign a piece of paper that just says that we're fucked. You just want me to raw dog a fucking relationship with Russia as if Putin wouldn't just break it. He just invaded us.
Let's build NATO in Ukraine. That's
it's like
my
believing
position.
Israel. Yeah, I mean, it's exactly like that, right? There's a reason why Palestinians don't believe any fucking ceasefire deals with Israel. It's because they don't fucking follow any of them. They decide at some point, well, we don't care anymore, and we're going to just pretend like this is in self-defense. I mean, it is exactly the Russian playbook in that instance.
Europeans are ready or to have contingents.
They're fucked. It seems like Trump wants to ally with Russia to later down road break the ties between China and Russia. I mean, yeah, sure.
On our territory, boots on the ground. United States thinks maybe to help, maybe USA backstop have to be just to guarantee that they are with the Europeans. Look at Europe. It's strong. It became stronger, but they also want to have allies like the United States. That's what I said. I just want to understand what the peace. It's not my question, Brad. This is the question from all our people.
You mentioned
Also, Trump just signed a $1 billion in bombs and weapons to Israel this week. I thought the Pentagon signed for $2.7 billion to Israel this week. I mean, like, I think anyone with eyes can see that this is very obviously just like Trump power grab, power alliance with Putin. There it is. Putin offers Trump a better rare minerals deal in his country and says Russia has significantly larger rare earth reserves than Ukraine. Wake the fuck up, MAGA. Trump is a transactional narcissist with a debt to pay and a country to leverage. This deal isn't about minerals. It's about setting up a scenario where Russia and Trump both win at America's expense. Trump does not care if this weakens the U.S. in the long term. He just needs it weak enough while he's in control so that no one can stop him from doing what he wants. 1,000,000%. Trump has never cared about the United States. He has always cared about himself. That's why he didn't give a fuck that Zelenskyy thanked the U.S. for the javelins. He doesn't give a shit about that. He's not a he doesn't view himself as a representative of the United States. It's unironic that it's a Patrick scene from SpongeBob where it's like, is this a Krusty Krab? No, this is Patrick. I don't give a fuck if you say thank you to the U.S., our amazing allies, the United States, for giving us weapons. He wants to hear, oh, thank you, Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, you are the best. You are so wonderful. We could not do this without you, Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, you are the only person that can do this. That's what he wants. And if that means our cybersecurity goes to absolute shit, that's fine. That's cool. If that means our country goes to shit, that's cool. As long as Trump gets to come out on top. Right?
Almost 2 years or brain rot. Accounting solidarity with Deanbo DNM Slay
Oh,
DNM Buff.
Thanks, Activation Account. Thank you for the almost 2 years. It's important to emphasize that Russia possesses significantly more rare earth minerals than Ukraine. Russia is one of the uncontested leaders when it comes to rare and rare earth metal reserves. We have deposits in the north, in Murmansk, in the Caucasus, in Kabardino-Balkaria. I mean, it's a massive country with basically nothing on it. Yeah, there's a lot of minerals. As well as in the Far East, in Irkutsk region, in Yakutia and Tuva. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing the fuck out of these. Developing these resources requires substantial capital investments. We would be happy to work with any foreign partners, including American ones. The same is true for new territories. We're open to foreign partnerships. Our historical territories have returned to the Russian Federation and also hold certain reserves. We're prepared to work with international partners, including Americans. I didn't realize how much pick-me energy Putin has. I mean, he understands that if you glaze Trump... Well, first of all, Putin understands that he was never going to win with Biden. So there was no point in even trying, right? Is he talking about Ukrainian land? Possibly. Smile. Possibly. $3 billion in emergency funding. Israel pushing into Damascus, cutting off Gaza from all resources during Ramadan. Build up of 50,000 soldiers, cutting off a refugee camp with bulldozers. Israel claiming Hamas reneged, on the ceasefire too. I mean, is there a shock? Is anyone shocked by that at all? Yeah. It's and then we have content warning, Marjorie Titan Green. Okay. Please. I know I can't just show her without any content warning. I'm trying to be more considerate of all of you. Marjorie Titan Green claims Americans have been programmed by Hollywood to believe Russia is the enemy. Have you ever noticed for decades how Hollywood movies always made Russia the bad guy in their movies? It's like, how can someone be so right and so wrong at the same time? Oh my God. Representative MTG suggests that Hollywood has programmed Americans to view Russia as an enemy for decades. Green criticized U.S. support for Ukraine in its ongoing war against Russia, arguing that the conflict has resulted in over 1 million deaths and global economic instability. In a post on X on Saturday, she called for lifting sanctions on Russia and pushing for diplomatic solutions instead. Have you ever noticed how for decades now Hollywood has always made Russia the bad guy in their movies? It's like Americans have been programmed to believe Russia must be the enemy at all times. Ask her about how they do that about China and Arabs too. Whoa. Don't be crazy, okay? Don't be insane. Let's all recognize that the Arab terrorists are evil, uniquely evil, and Islam is uniquely evil. Okay, that's different. That's different. The Russians are still white. I mean, they're our friends. Georgia Congresswoman and outspoken supporter of President Donald Trump further argued that U.S. support for Ukraine has only led to economic hardship and that it's time to restore relations with both Ukraine and Russia, as if you can do both, to promote peace and prosperity. Her comments following a dramatic clash between Trump and Ukraine's President Zelenskyy in an Oval Office meeting on Friday. Tensions have increased between U.S. and its longtime ally since Ukraine since the Trump administration entered office, with Trump seemingly embracing Russian President Putin while criticizing Zelenskyy's leadership. I mean, he called Zelenskyy a dictator and then said he didn't remember saying that. Also recently, MTG's boyfriend, let me pull it up if some of you didn't see this. Her boyfriend mocked Zelenskyy's clothing during chaotic Trump meeting. I want to try and find the clip, which her boyfriend dressed up as a fake reporter to do this. Where is it? I think this is a good post, maybe this shows it. Why?
Just want to see if you,
Start over.
Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you do you own a suit?
Yeah, you have problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not
Really?
respecting.
I don't have such.
This doesn't show what he looks like. Content warning. Content warning. 2 Titans are about to be on the screen. Please prepare yourself. Okay, I'm ready this time. They look like they were made in a lab. Derogatory. Dude, I fucking hate her veneers. I hate them. I hate her veneers so much. Okay, sorry.
War will finish. Okay. Yes, maybe
something
something
like
like yours. Yes, maybe something better. I don't know.
Wow, that's a great question, boyfriend of Marjorie Taylor Greene, whose name is not worth me learning. What could possibly be more pressing than why someone isn't wearing a suit? Well, meeting in the Oval Office, whatever. God help us if he were to show up at a cabinet meeting dressed like that, right? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and assume you know the answer to this question, because if you don't, then you're even worse at your job than most of us assumed you would be. And I'm going to assume, again, benefit of the doubt, that you're just trying to bully here, because that
Green fucker, we call him. Ew!
really genuinely is better than the alternative, where you really, really are just that bad at your job. Which, honestly, you just might be, because, oh my God, does it take a lot to make Marco Rubio look this mortified at your antics. But just in case, the reason Zelenskyy is not wearing a suit is because he said he will not wear a suit until the end of the war. He's showing solidarity with the rest of his country's citizens who are at war.
Which I have to say I think is pretty reasonable. I mean, like, the guy stayed in Kiev during, like, the initial beginnings of the invasion, right? Like, he very clearly is, like, wanting to stick with the, what's the saying? What's the idiom? Go down with the ship? Right? I don't think it's like necessarily just virtue signaling to also say the same thing about the clothing, right? Because he actually like talks the talk and walks the walk. I think it's cool.
He is at war. He's been doing this for like 3 years.
Also, Churchill did the same thing in World War II when he came to the U.S. asking for help. He was wearing a military uniform.
No. Catch up. Oh, who am I kidding? You're about as good at your job as Marjorie Taylor Greene is.
Why don't you wear a suit?
Also, like, yeah, to criticize him for not wearing a suit, and then like fucking Musk just dresses up however the fuck he feels like it, always obviously bringing his human shield with him. And not bat an eye at that. Just not bat an eye. It's all good. We don't need to. Nah, we're good. So that was Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. And then here is her saying that maybe we should be friends with Russia. You think about that? You think about that? And it's so crazy to like try and point out that Red Scare propaganda has been used in Hollywood for decades because we don't want people to ever think about anything that isn't capitalism. So we've done so much to try and push people away from socialism or communism, primarily by doing Red Scare propaganda. And then now when Russia is currently being led by Putin, terrible person, Putin, which doesn't even do him justice, suddenly maybe we don't need to see them as a decade. Once Russia actually starts doing severely fucked up shit, maybe we don't need to see them as the enemy.
When I traveled to the front lines with you last year to see the situation, to mark the anniversary.
Let me know if I got this right. Alpha asks for help from US because he is not too proud to help his people. Beta asks him to act like a beta for him. Alpha says no. Beta tells the world that Alpha has a terrible attitude and just wants to fight wars and is too bloodthirsty, trying to make Alpha look not Alpha, and make himself look like an all-powerful father figure over all of the other country leaders as if they need him, aka the US, right?
Yes, correct. Basically this.
Anniversary of the war, and this is what you told me back then.
Will Ukrainians survive?
Someone will know Howard's such a jobber, can't stand his deep smoke damaged laugh when anything like this happens. Same dude that clapped like a seal during the last cabinet meeting. What a total loser. I mean, like, every cabinet member at this point is just another Trump puppet, right? This pause, sorry.
Without
Bad pause.
Congress support, of course, but not all of us. It will be tragedy for all of us, not only for Ukraine, not only for Ukrainians, for all Europe.
Yeah. So the question today is, can Ukraine win this war or hold off Russia without continued U.S. support?
It will be difficult for us. That's why I'm here. That's why we speak about the future negotiations. It will be difficult without your support, but we can't lose our values, our people. We can't lose our freedom. So a lot of people, Russians came to our territory, you know it. Russians came to our houses, and everybody saw it, video, images, a lot of things. They killed so many people. Just to forget it, just to say that Putin is a great guy? No, without us. We don't want it. That's why we speak about, everybody remembered how it was the first days of the war, how they came. Nobody wants in Ukraine. Yes, of course, nobody will forget it, but nobody wants to have, again, new wave of occupation. That's why when we say, no NATO, what security guarantees can we have? I'm not pushing, we are not pressuring, we're just asking, we're just sharing very clear messages to our friends, to Americans.
Right.
If you stay with us, thank you so much, but let's do the infrastructure of security guarantees. Let's just share with our people, that America, stay with us. That's great. We count on it. But just to share it and to say it, that's all.
How does the war end? How do you get to a deal? You're at a place right now where there is no deal. How do you get it back on track?
I think that Europe is ready for contingents and to help us with financing of big army, such big.
I'm actually going to lose my marbles. I'm going to be marbleless. The irony is not lost on me here for Elon Musk to talk about the cost of war and make fun of Zelensky as if he himself isn't this exact person that sits at the table. Stop. You EU leaders, sorry, he posted this meme 3 hours ago, the reality of war, and it's like a bunch of bloodied chess pieces, and then like the king and queen are sitting off to the side eating whatever chess pieces. It looks like they're just drinking wine. They're not eating anything. They're just drinking. And then he quote tweeted himself, an hour afterward? He was like, this post isn't getting enough attention. Let's quote tweet it again. EU leaders and Zelensky having fancy dinners while men die in trenches. How many parents will never see their son again? How many children will never see their father? You! This is you! This is you! You're these pieces! You're literally... This is literally... His kid was having a medical emergency and he didn't give a fuck because he was too busy in a fucking K-hole on stage with a chainsaw, high-ish balls, talking about how they were going to cut government funding to things and pretend like it's savings. King Trump and Queen Musk. Stop. Jane. Oh, God. You can see it in his cheeks. He was listen, he was wearing sunglasses for a reason, okay? I think we all know that. I mean, the video from Sean about like the cost of war with regard to the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I think talk about this point really well, that you cannot make utilitarian decisions unless you include yourself in the calculus. That's the very short summarized version of it. That it's very easy to say, we're going to go to Mars, we're going to do it as quickly as we can. I don't really care about how many people get harmed in the process. So think like even his SpaceX adventures. He doesn't care how dangerous or how much harm is happening. with the SpaceX ventures. Oh, okay, we've destroyed another small ecosystem. Who cares? Oh, we've made this area inhabitable for the people who live here. Who cares? If you want fast progress, a lot of people have to suffer. That's just the way that it has to be. Slow progress, aka actual, like respecting OSHA, it's not worth it. Because it means that we won't actually get to achieve these dreams in a time that's reasonable for him. But you can only say that when you don't include yourself in the calculus. He's stated that many times, actually. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm repeating what he's said about things that he believes. But he only believes those things because he does not view himself ever as being one of these pieces. He doesn't care that Tesla has he has, under Elon's leadership, Tesla has had more OSHA violations than the next 3 or 4 largest car manufacturers combined. What's his perspective on this? Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. We won't get what we need in time unless a lot of people suffer. It's not worth going the slow way and letting people enjoy their lives and treating people with dignity and respect. But again, you can only make that calculus when you are not involved in the cost. I feel like the Lord Farquaad line applies here. I mean, yeah, it absolutely does. Some of you will suffer. Some of you will die. That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Also, Grimes would probably have something choice to say about the parents not seeing their kids again. Lord Fartwad. Yeah. It's like Sam Altman saying the rules of society need to change for the future of AI. It's like, no, actually, fuck you. No. I don't care if like progress is slowed by like a century or two if it means that like the people who live today get to enjoy their lives. What benefit is it to me that we go to fucking Mars? Are you kidding me? Maybe we should treat the people today with dignity. But again, like if you want like a better breakdown of this like really pathetic ideology, Sean Vids has a really good video on our bombings in Japan and talking about how this is, first of all, it's wrong. They were already ready to surrender. But more importantly, and we just wanted to test it, but more importantly, the whole, we collectively saved more lives. You can only make that claim, you can only defend that statement when you weren't one of the people that had to be concerned that you would get bombed, that you would lose your house, your family, your life, right? It's just pathetic. It's so pathetic to mock Zelenskyy for having fancy dinners while men are dying when he actually stayed in the country and the cities where a lot of the warfare was occurring. Meanwhile, you are this meme. This is you.
As we have now, this is our army is the part of security guarantees. Now we want to find the place for our biggest strategic partner, for the United States, or United States will propose where and how a United States will give us security guarantees, what kind of and what part of volume of security guarantees. And when we will be ready with this, we will come to diplomacy. To diplomacy, yes, with Russians, Europeans, United States, and we, 4 of us. I think this is real way, because with weapon, it's too long, it's not enough. We don't have enough weapon to push them out, and we don't see now, for now, we don't see really big volume of new support from the United States. But
SNL did a great skit at the Zelenskyy-Trump meeting. This has to be bait, chatter. There's no way. Stop. Also, the U.S. had absolutely no qualms about maximizing Japanese fatalities. U.S. had used firebombs specifically because they got hundreds of thousands of casualties, devastated civilian architecture. I mean, yeah. It's a mystery that the Japanese people don't hate Americans more, or at least the American government more, for like the crimes that America has committed in Japan. Japan was mostly built out of wood at the time, so the firebombing was incredibly horrific. And we knew we were killing, tens, hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians? Those weren't combatants. Those were civilians. People in Japan hate the U.S. I mean, I don't think that they hate the U.S. First of all, I don't think they hate the U.S. But second, even if they did, I'm arguing that they don't hate them enough. That they don't hate us enough. At least our government. They don't hate our government enough. Because it's just like, I mean, yeah.
Respect again. So for today, we'll be ready with security guarantee. Really, when I say NATO, it's not about that we are focusing on this word. It's about very understandable infrastructure of security guarantees. And you see that no NATO countries, for today, no NATO countries been under attacks.
Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican from South Carolina, he has been a big proponent of you and of Ukraine, said this today after the meeting.
I have never been more proud of the president. I was very proud of J.D. Vance, standing up for our country. We want to be helpful. What I saw in the Oval Office was disrespectful. And
to say that you respect J.D. Vance when effectively all he did was get on his couch that he may or may not have fucked beforehand and say, "You have to say please and thank you, Mr. Zelensky. You have to say please and thank you when this is the guy that you're glazing." Oh my God, dude. He's not going to fuck you, bro. You're not a couch, idiot.
I don't know if we can ever do business with Zelensky again. He either needs to resign and send somebody over that we can do business with, or he needs to change.
So he says you need to consider resigning. Is that on the table?
Consider resign. Is that on the table? How brain damaged do you have to be to watch Fox News? Oh my God.
I don't know if he will be happy after my words. This decision can do only people of Ukraine.
You're not going to step down to do a peace deal.
No, I was always ready. I'm not sure that is a good idea for this such proposals. But anyway, I always said if United States will support NATO, so I think that it's enough for Ukraine. So I think I did all I had to do. And if somebody is not this happy with me, okay. But between us, yes, Americans vote for American president. Each European country vote for their president, and only Ukrainian. With all respect to Lindsay, if I can say Lindsay, we know each other, yes, and only Ukrainians.
Democrats
vote for their president.
Democrats have had the opposite reaction to the Oval Office meeting. Democratic Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut posted this: "What just happened in the Oval Office was a planned ambush designed to help a brutal Russian dictator."
This was based as fuck, by the way. This was like actually the most based I've seen. He's a rep. Yes. Yeah, he's a rep. A South Carolina rep. Wait, no, he's a senator. Why did Google say that he was a rep for a second? Previously, I think, a member of South Carolina House Representatives. I believe that was, or this is someone else. These images are so small. Let me check his career, one sec. Yeah, previously a rep. Okay. Yes. That's why Google is pulling up both, I think. Yeah, this is like the most based from Connecticut. Sorry, not South Carolina. This is the most based I think I've seen a representative be outside of a senator be outside of like Bernie Sanders in I don't even know how long. Because it's not so much what he's saying, it's how he's saying it. This is basically what every single fucking Democrat is saying right now. This is not like a concerning position or like a bold opinion to have, right? It's how he's saying it. And I think I'm hopeful that maybe CNN, MSNBC, maybe some senators, maybe some representatives, especially the younger that they are, will recognize that these civility politics are not doing well with the majority of Americans. When you are at the point where a CEO gets killed and everyone is rooting for the guy who killed him, you need to reassess your strategy for going against evil fucking Republicans. And it's cool to see people finally trying to be a little bit more direct, trying to ignore decorum because it's fucking meaningless if nothing gets done. Allegedly. Excuse me. Allegedly. Excuse me.
And hurt America's security. Trump has become Putin's lapdog, and America's global power is hemorrhaging as America sides with dictators over democracy. What an embarrassment. Do you think the confrontation in the Oval Office today was pre-planned, like Senator Murphy suggests?
I don't know.
You don't know? You think maybe?
I don't know. No. I don't. I don't know about it. I think no. I think it was just a really tough situation because we've been very open, very direct.
What set you off? What made you mad? Because they said your tenor and tone set that.
It's not about mad. It's how to say. When you are in the United States, and for example, president or vice president or somebody or senators, it doesn't matter, big politicians, yes, when they, for example, say that Ukraine is almost destroyed, that our soldiers run away, that they are not heroes, that Ukraine lost millions of civilians, that his president is dictator, you know? What is the reaction? It's not about me. The reaction is that where is our friendship between Ukraine and the United States? That's it. This is filling. And that's why I do not want to lose our great partners at the United States. And I just said that it's not the first time. I said it by phone, and we had some other conversations, and we had in Munich meetings, and I said, please, be correct. Just, I want to be very polite. I mean this, be correct with this number. When you say about the number, each person is important. When you say about 1 million of losses, we don't have any million of losses. Just when you speak about the territories, maybe some territories and etc., it's not just territory, it's houses, it's people's lives. You know, their fathers, mother, their relatives, grandfather, they died or during this war. Nobody wants to forgive Putin. It's not funny, you know, or fairy tale. This is real life. That's what I said. And when you said it, a lot of times to my big friends who've been here today in our dialogue, and then they again begin to repeat the same things, I think it's not, I mean, this, that's
Isn't
why
Chris Murphy pro-Israel? I mean, that's literally every single sitting representative and senator